Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has publicly acknowledged for the first time that thousands of people were killed in the country's recent wave of anti-government protests, a confrontation he claims was fueled by foreign interference, especially from the United States and former President Donald Trump. What Khamenei said in a televised address this weekend, Ayatollah Khamenei admitted that several thousand people lost their lives during the demonstrations that began on December 28, 2025. Marking one of the deadliest episodes of unrest in modern Iranian history. Khamenei described some of the deaths as occurring in inhuman, savage fashion, but instead of blaming Iran's own security forces, he accused foreign powers of instigating chaos and violence. He repeatedly called Donald Trump a criminal, saying the former U.S. president encouraged protesters by promising support, including suggesting possible military backing. The supreme leader labeled many demonstrators as foot soldiers of external enemies and insisted the unrest was not a grassroots movement but a foreign-derived plot. Business Standard: the protests began amid worsening economic conditions, including high inflation and falling living standards, but quickly grew into widespread anger at political repression and calls for change. Rights groups report figures of more than 3,000 deaths and tens of thousands of arrests during the crackdown. Downward trend: Iran also imposed a nationwide internet blackout for days, making independent verification difficult. Trump: in reaction to Khamenei's criticism, Donald Trump sharply denounced the Iranian leadership in interviews, calling the supreme leader a sick man, and saying it's time to look for new leadership in Iran. Trump has previously warned Iran against killing protesters and hinted at possible military options, though his stance has shifted between pressure and diplomatic restraint. Governments and human rights groups around the world have condemned the crackdown, calling for investigations and accountability. Iranian dissidents, including exiled figures like Reza Pahlavi, continue to call for regime change. The Guardian: it is highly unusual for the Iranian leadership to acknowledge such a large number of deaths publicly, even while deflecting blame. Analysts say this may reflect internal pressure on the regime and efforts to control the narrative ahead of broader political challenges.